Here.
Here.
He's online. Councilman Ashby's online. Can you hear us, Councilman Ashby?
I can through the live streaming, but not through the Zoom.
Attendance.
There we go. Can you hear us now?
Now I can. Yep.
Okay, sorry about that. So we were doing attendance.
Here.
Councilwoman Robinette, Councilwoman Lipka, Councilwoman Nelson, and Mayor Jones.
Here, a quorum is present. We move to our public comments. We remind everyone when you come to the podium, please speak up, speak clearly into the microphone so the recording can capture your statement. Public comments.
So first we have Shirley Emerson.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. Several years ago, actually in 2022, we decided to explore, I'm Shirley Emerson, and I'm president of Forestwood Community Development Corporation. So several years ago in 2022, we decided to explore the possibility of having a historic designation for our community. And at the time, we met with the director of planning, who was then Elliot Leibson. He came to one of the Forestwood Neighborhood Association meetings, and he shared a lot of information about that process. Well, in subsequent days after that meeting, we had some informal conversations throughout our community with residents, and there were several general areas of concern. But overall, everybody seemed to be at least in favor of finding out more information about this whole process. So subsequently, we contacted Mr. Leibson, and he said he would put together a presentation. We decided we would have an informal, an informational session with the residents, particularly in the areas that would be directly impacted by this. Well, Mr. Leibson left, and since then, I have tried several times to determine the route that we need to take, who is the appropriate person or the appropriate department that we need to be contacting, because we would like to take it to the next level. And so far, I haven't been able to determine that. And so that's my question to the council, is who is it that we need to be talking with to take this to the next level? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Emerson.
Laverne Mitchell.
Good evening, council.
Good evening.
As we approach the new year, I would like to remind all of us that we must be intentional in having a prosperous city. prosperous city is made of caring neighborhoods where people work together for the overall good and best interests of all. As our leaders and council members, you must always work for and propose bills and take action that helps and does no harm to the citizens in the city. I know this bill is not on the table now, but I just still want to make comments. The recent bill regarding property owners paying their taxes was not going to be helpful, but harmful to some of our businesses. Councilman Ashby, thank you for speaking up about the unfairness of that bill. No one is saying people should not pay their taxes because they should. However, we should never take actions which cause businesses to leave Ferguson. We want businesses to come into Ferguson. The Code of Conduct ordinance in which you all worked on and passed in April 2021 is a very important document. However, unless you as council members follow your own laws and rules, it's just words on paper. As human beings, we all make mistakes. We all take actions and words which we may regret. But we have to also remember that sometimes we're intentional about our words and our mistakes. I would like for this council, as we approach a new year, to do two things. One, abide by the code of conduct for the council. Two, as you lead and govern the city, keep in mind the starting point is to do what is in the best interest of all the people. Every citizen and even your fellow council members will not agree with you at all times. We know that. But if you sincerely start at the point of doing what's best for all of us, I think most of your decisions will be good decisions if you do that. I'm not out of touch with your responsibilities. Most of you know I was on the council after the killing of Michael Brown and all of the civil unrest. I understand your responsibilities and what you have to do, and that you try to make the best decision. And that's all I'm saying. When you make decisions for this city, make sure it's in the best interest of all of us. If you start there, I think most of your decisions will be good. And you may be saying, well, does she think that when we make decisions, we're not making them in the best interest? No, I don't think that all the time, but sometimes I do. Let's move forward in this new year to make Ferguson a prosperous, good city where people will want to come and live.
Thank you, Ms. Mitchum. Alan Miller.
Good evening. Thank you, Chief Hampton, for agreeing to be our city manager. I think you're the best person for this job. And even as interim, you've made many improvements in our staffing as well as our staff's policies and procedures. The city manager does not need to be, nor should be, a jack of all trades. City business is too complex for any one person to know everything. A manager needs to be a good manager, able to hire the right people, ensure that they stay with our city long enough to become effective, and empower them to be fully effective. A manager needs to understand his community and make use of the available resources for information and assistance. We have an abundance of boards and commissions eager to help. Our community is rich with business people covering a wide variety of careers and experiences. We have many able hands willing to help with community projects and to serve in times of need. And we have a wealth of community organizations and faith leaders to serve as guides. I think the chief has a good track record demonstrating the management skills, openness, and willingness to learn needed for this important position. Together, as a community, we can achieve stability and prosperity. A quick comment regarding Bill 7266. As we have previously discussed, it is really important that bills be posted with an explanation for why they are being proposed. This would allow a productive discussion of the proposals. This bill's wording is too broad and will have unintended consequences. There are several commercial buildings that are surrounded by city-owned property. One is 110 South Ferguson. Before it became Best Beauty, that space contained a furniture and mattress store. The building does not have a private parking lot. All deliveries must occur on city property. This bill would preempt the zoning code by severely restricting potential uses in that space. Similarly, a UPS or Amazon delivery vehicle making a delivery to an apartment above Kathy's kitchen would also be in violation of this bill if, as often happens, street parking and the small private lot behind it are filled. So Bill 7266 needs to be modified before it is ready for passage. Lastly, regarding the proposal for the whistle stop, Chef Nessie catered crowds eating in the garden last September, and the attendees gave her food and service rave reviews. Concerning the bill, I strongly suggest one provision of the rental agreement be changed. To maintain the building's historical character, it is important that the building's windows and doors be maintained by the city. To maintain the city's insurance on the building, the doors and door hardware might need to remain the city's responsible also, since they affect ADA access and the building's security. Thank you.
Thank you.
Adrian Shropshire.
Good evening, council.
Good evening.
Council. Good evening, citizens. And congratulations to our new city manager. Been a long time coming. I've seen a few come and go. And seemed like we got the reputation of sending them packing. But I think we have the best man for the job now. And I think we'll have stability within our guidance of our city. One of the things I want to touch on, I hope when the new year comes in, that each council person can get a project. I think back in May, the mayor asked each council person to grab hold of a project for their week and bring it forward. And I think that'll help a new city manager now make some things happen within our community. Projects build, projects get volunteers, and projects help our community look good. I have a question with our traffic monitor. I mean, we're taking tallies of cars. That's great. But I'd like to know just how do we track? Are there trucks? Are there cars? Are there bicycles? And then how do you plan to contact the people that are doing the speeding? That's something I had wanted to talk about. That I think if you don't have a way to see who's speeding, how we're going to make use of that monitor, just that. That's what I would like to know. Not being critical of it, you know, it's letting me know just where, how many people are speeding within our community. Monitors Town Hall meeting. Gosh, I wish everybody could have been there. There's things that we can do as a city that they stress. City health. I'm going to be working with the police department, my nonprofit. We're going to be at Jobs and More. We're going to be working hand in hand with the police department at the beginning of the year to try to set up a neighborhood watch. That is on the purview of the police department now. And we want to help them out because they don't really have enough men. So why not have a group, a citizens group, kick it off and put in the time and get the eye back in the window that we used to have 20 years ago. Crime prevention, outreach. We can get a committee with the citizens because we have a lot of citizens concerned about the crime and about neighborhood watch. This is the opportunity to get our citizens to step up, watch their neighborhood, and go back into the safe neighborhood. Neighborhood watches, we had neighborhood watches, we had basketball, we had games, barbecue within our streets, but everybody had to buy. I want to special thanks, Mayor. Special thanks to Public Works. Great job on the lights. Our city's so clean. I like that. We don't have running over trash cans. And I want to thank them for doing a great job. And I want to thank the people in the main office. That's what keeps things going around. That's the grunt of our city, the Public Works Department. I want to thank everybody that came to our Thanksgiving dinner for the citizens with Sin Relief. He gave out 300 dinners and we gave away 50 dinners to the police department and the fire department. And I wish everybody happy holidays. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nick Cassow.
Good evening, Nick Cassow, 125 Royal. A few quick things. First of all, and don't be used to people, but what Alan said. He stole the thunder out of almost everything I wanted to say tonight. And it's great to be in agreement with my distinguished neighbor. A few quick things though. First of all, regarding the parking ordinance, council is in receipt of an email from me this afternoon with some of the concerns Mr. Mueller had, as well as a few others, and some recommendations on how we can improve that ordinance. So I hope that council will give that the appropriate consideration. Regarding traffic, Mr. Shropshire had inquired about whether we distinguish between different vehicles, and the measurement device actually does separate the vehicles by length. We are working on getting that data summarized in some more useful formats, and we're going to be putting out information for the public, as well as giving it to the appropriate city departments for their use once we can get it together. We've got about 500,000 records at this point, and we're trying to continue to gather data. We're going to work with the city to hopefully streamline that process soon. Finally, I want to say thanks to council for, although you wandered through the weeds for a while, you ended at the right place when you appointed Mr. Hampton as our city manager. He's been doing a terrific job as interim city manager on both occasions where he served in that capacity. And it's a great move forward for our city that he'll be in that seat, hopefully for years to come. Now, I know that John is big on efficiency and saving the city money. So one thing that I want to volunteer to do, I noticed he's got that nameplate up there that says interim city manager. So rather than wasting $10 getting a new nameplate for him, I'm going to volunteer to bring a roll of electrical tape up here before the next meeting. I'll tape over the word interim on there, and he can keep using that. So, John, welcome, and we appreciate your service, sir.
That's the only individual you have signed in. You have one more that was emailed to you guys that'll be entered into the record.
Okay. Do we have anyone on Zoom who would like to speak? Okay. Thus end the public comments. We move to the manager's report. At this time, I'll introduce you as interim city manager, John Hampton.
Mayor Council, it's a pleasure being here again. Tonight I'll start off with a groundbreaking ceremony, which is tomorrow at 1 o'clock. It's for the Performance Food Group off of Hearn in that area. And then also I want to give a little update on Versailles Apartments. We've been working with the legal team. It is now more about the receivership and the potential sale. And maybe I have Apollo talk a little bit about it.
So there's a receivership entered on the property, so they're about to try to sell it to someone. And so we are working with them to, today we got them a list of the code violations. And so as part of the contract to sell the property to whoever they're going to sell it to, they have to agree to remedy the code violations that are there. So we filed actions in the receivership, which is being monitored by a court to make sure that the court had the list of violations that are currently existing. And so whenever that contract is signed, we can have some assurance that whoever is going to purchase the property knows what the issues are and will have to agree, at least in the contract, to to remedy those issues within a certain time frame. If they don't, then the city could reinstitute its proceedings to condemn the property.
Councilwoman Lipka.
So you said something that I was really glad to hear. You said within a certain amount of time. Do we have any idea? I mean, just a guesstimate, are we looking at a year long? Are we looking at 10 months? Are we looking at 24 months? I mean, to the extent of those code violations and those improvements, do we have any idea what logically should be a timeline?
Yeah, so, I can't say it's gonna be 5 months, 6 months, but there is an extensive list, and with the project, with the Versailles Apartments, with as much work that has to be done, it has to be brought up to all of our codes. So that is gonna be a lot of work, so that's not gonna be a 6 month little thing.
So I have two more questions on that count. Go ahead, sir.
So
Yes.
it could be tiered,
Okay.
in terms of, a certain group of repairs be done by a certain time, another group of repairs be done by a different time frame, depending upon the extensive nature of the repairs and how long it takes to do that kind of thing normally.
Okay, so there's two more questions. The first question being, are we dead set on the fact that this receivership is going to acknowledge the things that need to be fixed and that the potential future buyer is going to continue a apartment complex? Or is this a building that could become something else? And then the second question I have is, as we have these code violations and there is a possible tier program to fix those things, we as a city are also looking at changing and updating our zoning laws. So would any of our changes in our zoning rules, how would we do that? Would they be grandfathered? Would they have to meet the new zoning rules that we're creating as we are speaking, so how does the ever-changing zoning improvements that we're making going to affect the current?
Now it's currently an apartment complex.
Right.
Should they be grandfathered in as an apartment complex? But then again, they're gonna come here and present their business plan. I think that should be a priority as well. With that being said, even right now, they cannot get any occupancy from the city currently. And so we are for sure going to keep that in place until we start seeing some of this tiered stuff done. Obviously, we're going to do life safety first.
Okay,
Because right now, part of our system is not working again. The elevators are very life safety issue, especially if we have handicapped people that have to get to the doctors and things like that. You can't call the fire department or the police department all the time to bring somebody down from the fourth floor. That's not their job. They're
Right.
supposed to be responding to emergencies. So those type of things are to be, addressed. And the receiver, they already know all these issues.
mm-hmm.
Okay, so one of the problems that we've had with the receiver is everything's been out for bid. Everything's out for bid. Well, when they go up for sale, when it's sold, all those bids go away.
Okay,
So it's up to the new owner to go out and get all those bids.
so that
So
process starts
all that
over.
Work that's being done right now, which I know the receiver already knows all this, because we've had many conversations, that goes away. So all this work of, we're gonna get this done, we're gonna get that done, it's not gonna happen before the sale.
So it just basically starts over with the new particular person.
And that's
or-
why we're in the court system right now, trying to protect the city as much as we can. Instead of having a condemnation order on it, we are now putting in play where you have to fix this, and it's in the court system.
Is there any reason, I mean, do we really feel like this building is salvageable, or would it be an opportunity to bring back down to ground level and start over?
So I think if you're an educated buyer,
Yeah.
that educated buyer, if they don't have somebody that's gonna buy that building, then there's an opportunity for us to maybe go back to the judge saying, listen, there is no takers, this is a problem. Maybe we can use some of that money, that whatever millions of left out of that, to tear down the building.
Mhm.
But right now, if that's an educated buyer that says, I can do this, then he's gonna have to abide by it and have a plan, I think, to the court system, correct?
Yeah.
Right.
Where we come, to make sure we filed that, why we filed that list of code violations.
Okay, thank you. The current receivers?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Okay.
Our biggest thing is we don't want it to go back to where we were. Right?
No.
We don't want to have it where it's, violence is in there, where we have to have, issue, of course, to, not from our police department, but by security to get this under control. And, there's other things that they do to property by fencing it all the way around, but that's something our department and code will have to talk about, on the fences. Well, not fences, but gate fees. And that's something that we will have.
Okay. Thank you.
Councilwoman Noah.
Thank you, Mayor. And who is the current receiver? Who has this receivership? Still Trilogy?
Mayor, I had a question for the chief. I apologize.
Which one of the chiefs?
I'm sorry. Chief Hampton.
Okay, just before you get started, Chief Doyle, is it all right if okay.
My apologies for
Manager, would
remote.
Blake, would you pose your question to the city manager?
Chief Hampton, again, great to have you. Where are we with Weiss Engineering or the engineering for the next phase of the street rebuild?
So with the RFQ, we have the RFQ back right now. We're still doing the grading process. And then we'll bring that to council. That will be the first of the year.
And will that be soon enough to allow us to get the good rates on the construction bids?
I believe so. I mean, we had two companies put in for it, and we haven't, like I said, we haven't made a selection. And even at that, we'll probably bring it to council as well.
Thank you.
So they have not priced the jobs out. All they did was qualifications.
Mhm.
Yep. Okay. All right. Thanks for the update.
All right, yes, sir. Thank you.
Members of the council, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Provide you with the police department's report for the month of December. Staffing, as you can see, we steady, slowly improving. I'll talk about a little bit more of this in the next slide. But right now, we currently, of all positions, we're about 68% fully staffed for the PD, which I think is welcoming news for us. So as of right now, we have 2 recruits that's graduating this Thursday that would enter our ranks. We have 2 more new recruits that's headed to the academy in January. As you recall, about a couple months ago, I mentioned that we may have 5 recruits that would enter the January class. However, in that group, only 2 of them survived our background checks, our vetting process. And as I mentioned to this council and to the residents here, that I believe in second chances. However, we got to be extremely careful on the individuals that we bring into our city. That left us with 2 recruits that's headed to the January class. We currently have 3 experienced police officers currently in training. They should be off for training here by the end of December. We have 3 more officers on the streets. We have 3 experienced officers currently in our process right now. So hopefully, barring that they make it through our vetting process, we have 3 more individuals that should be hired here in the very near future. The training coordinator, excited to announce this news here. We interviewing, I have next week on the slide, but it's actually tomorrow. Interviewing a young lady who's the training coordinator for the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department. She had since retired, took a job in the corporate arena. However, she wanted to bring her expertise and experience to the city of Ferguson here. So we're going to interview her tomorrow. So we are pretty excited to hopefully have her come on board. So in regards to Court 1 crime, as you can see, the biggest number up there is the rapes, 5 compared to 3 this time last year. I highlighted burglary on there. We have seen an uptick
and burglaries. I put it out on my Facebook page here a couple of days ago. I want to talk too much about that. The police department's working on an operation in regards to that. Hopefully that yield us some results. Believe it or not, auto thefts are down for the year, around 16%. Larceny and thefts are up 35%. I expect that number to increase a little bit, and so is the robbery numbers. Reason I say that this time of year, it's usually when thefts and robberies go up because of the holiday season. People know that people have gifts in their vehicles and place of residence. However, but for the year, if you look at all Part 1 crimes, we're up 6% for the year. Obviously, I'm not happy with that number, but I'll talk about that here in a little slide. Same thing, Part 2 crimes, the number that stands out the most is the counterfeit and forgery. We talked about that before. Again, that's the check whitewashing that's taking place. And again, I got to continue to emphasize this is not just happening in Ferguson, it's in Richmond Heights, it's all over the county. However, this is still taking place. The trespassing, we talked about that. The traffic warnings and citations, 2-week comparison, the numbers are self-explanatory up there. Traffic warning citations year to date, we wrote 2,870 traffic violations. 946 of those were warnings. Over 1,900 of those were actually got my colors mixed up on it, but again, it's just a bar chart, pretty much explaining the same thing. When I got here in the city of Ferguson, again, one of the biggest complaints that I received was the traffic violations here in the city. People speed up and down Chambers, South Florissant Road, all over West Florissant. We have increased our traffic enforcement. As you can tell by the numbers up there, we have increased to 60% our traffic enforcement compared to this time last year. Vehicle accidents year to date, we're down 10%. 2-week comparison as far as vehicle accidents, we're down 14%. Fail to yield, I continue to put this slide in there because I think it's extremely important for our community to know. The failure to yield are the vehicles that our officers try to stop for different traffic violations. And for whatever reason, these individuals refuse to stop for us. And that's what that number represents. And as you can see year to date, we're up about 192% in these particular cases, which is somewhat I won't even say somewhat, it's very disturbing for the police department. Again, I had to emphasize that the securing in unincorporated St. Louis County, Florissant, and Hazelwood, that's the culture in which we're dealing with. Obviously, you guys have seen the news. Several weeks ago, we had an incident. Unfortunately, a young lady perished in that accident. That accident is still currently in investigation by the Highway Patrol, and we have an internal investigation also going on with that particular incident. The community first. So again, when I first got here, these are some of the things that were brought to my attention. Since this is the last council meeting for the year, I just wanted to just briefly remind this body of what we've done. We increased our enforcement of expired license plates. We also increased traffic enforcement, 600 more traffic stops this year compared to this time last year. We have seized illegal operated mini bikes, which I've heard our community complain about. We have reduced vehicle accidents by 10%. And staffing continues to improve. And also part of our rebranding with the new uniforms, new badges, new patches, and new vehicle design. And again, these might sound like minor things to this body, this council, to the community, but this rebranding effort was a big deal for our police department. Our police department has been through a whole lot since 2014. They wanted a new look, they wanted a new attitude, they wanted to develop a new culture. So part of the rebranding was to build that culture within the police department. That's the reason why we did. So looking forward to 2024, Again, we're looking to continue to come into compliance with the consent decree. We currently are in the process of installing 11 flock cameras, which will be strategically placed within the city. That will help us in regards to solving crimes in our city, because oftentimes, even when the vehicles leave, hopefully the flock cameras are able to get license plates. So even when you get people in the neighborhoods of certain crimes, that maybe some of our cameras can capture some of this information for us. Approved training for our public safety dispatchers. We're entering a contract with a company to make our dispatchers a little bit more professional, get them better training in regards to not only how they handle calls and dispatching to our officers, but how they treat each and every one of you all. As I tell my dispatchers, when people call the police, oftentimes they call them at their worst times. And regardless of the stressful day that we may be having, we still have to, be professional in how we handle them. Make a long story short, we have an outside entity that's going to come in and provide some professional training for our dispatchers. I also plan on introducing coffee with the chief at different events in each ward in 2024. And we're also working on a comprehensive crime plan for the city of Ferguson. And hopefully in 2024, we're able to hire a social media coordinator. I'm here to answer any questions that you may have at this time.
I know. Thank you. Councilwoman Lipka and then Councilwoman Noah.
So basically, I just want to thank you. So, as many of you have heard me say before, I go to Planet Fitness quite often. I'm probably there about 5 times a week. At least I try to be. We've had a real problem in all hours of the day. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's at night. It doesn't matter if it's in the morning. It doesn't matter if it's smack dab in the middle of the afternoon. Cars are pulling up. They're breaking the windows out and they're stealing stuff out of the cars, or they're stealing the cars. I actually came up on one. I videotaped them. When they saw me videotaping them, they came after me. I chased them, and a police car was there, and it was so awesome to see our police department. Now, I will say, I know the mayor just put her head down, but like I told you in the past in this audience, it just makes me angry. And luckily, they didn't expect me to come behind them, so they did slow down enough, and the officer was able to catch them. So, I'm not saying go and do what I did, because what I did is stupid, but the fact that citizens are paying attention is something they don't intend to happen. And we haven't had a car break-in in Planet Fitness's lot since then. And that was last Thursday, I think it was. But what's sad to me, what? Okay, well, sorry about that. But what I've noticed is that a lot of the people who come to Planet Fitness now are parking their cars with all their windows open, which is that where we have to go to protect ourselves? You know what I mean? And I'm not saying the officers did anything. I'm angry with what we have as a community have to do to protect ourselves from these jerks. But I just want to say thank you to the police department. I mean, you guys have been on the spot. I actually came up on an accident right in front of Quick Trip a couple days later. Boom, on the spot. There they were. So, the actions and the behaviors of our police department is showing a very marked improvement since you've been on board and you've had the hiring process. What else did I have on here? Oh, the one thing I did see the other night, which I'm sure other residents have seen this too. It was in the evening. I was coming up Hereford. I was at the light. There was a car coming up Chambers. I was in the left-hand turn lane and I was waiting for my light. And all of a sudden this car came up. They went around the cars in front of them, turned onto Elizabeth at the light change, which could have been a travesty, and then proceeded to pass every car on Elizabeth as they went flying down Elizabeth. So, I mean, we still have work to do. But, I just have had a lot that I've seen lately. So thank you for what you're doing. And I just hope it keeps getting better.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilwoman Noah.
Well, thank you, Chief. As you know, a lot of the residents cannot make the meetings. So I would like to know if we can share that. Everyone knows I like to reshare, But I talk to a lot, especially our senior residents. They just can't make the meetings or they're not familiar with Zoom. So can you share that with us so we can reshare? All right, thank you.
Councilwoman Nelson, you have anything? Okay,
I have a question. Can you please just go, I mean, the parking lot, it is not a emergency thing, correct? I mean,
No.
I know we moved it from Planet Fitness, we are now getting killed at Burlington, we get killed at YMCA. We get, every parking lot we have.
Right.
There's an issue. And not to say that you did wrong, but just know from the city that we don't want anybody following anybody, please just call 911. I just want to put that, let's see.
You follow them and call 911 at the same time. You can give them a
you
license.
don't know if they have a gun or not, they could turn
I'm gonna hit them
around.
before they hit. Yeah, don't do what I did.
Not the example to follow, however, you're absolutely right. Again, we talk about this all the time, Ferguson, we talk about Clark County. Again, it's just not unique to us. We're talking about how we can incorporate some of this down. And believe it or not, they deal with a lot more than what we deal with here in Ferguson. So when it comes to crime, you gotta look at it in these terms. It's not crime has to do what criminals don't care which is.
Right.
Whatever. They have the opportunity to do it. Our goal here though, is to do what we can, especially as staff and to try to deter that type of activity here in our community. And again, the culture is slowly starting to change, and maybe I shouldn't say this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I think, again, prior to my arrival, I think the culture here at the police department was somewhat hesitant because of the whole, deal with the consent decree. I think the officers were afraid to do their job. As I have emphasized to them in numerous occasions, that we're gonna follow what the consent decree requires of us. And but the consent decree doesn't say that we cannot enforce the law, because we have to enforce the law. That being said, we just want to be people for an effort. That's all we do. That's all we can do.
Mayor Council, that is the city, my report.
Okay, thus end the manager's report. We move to special presentation. Councilwoman Noor and other Human Rights Commission members will do their presentation. Miss Becky, would you come?
We are ready. I am Councilwoman Noor, representing and serving Ward 3 Ferguson. I am the council liaison for the Human Rights Commission. And we have a member here, Ms. Becky Miller. She's going to assist me. We have two groups, two little ones, and another person who received an award. Bear with us, okay? So the first person is Alan Miller. Alan lends his considerable expertise freely with the community. As a professional licensed architect, he often does preliminary research on property ownership and value, especially as it applies to economic development. This assists the community, as we heard tonight, in making more informed questions at public hearings, etc. This was the case regarding the proposed development off of West Florissant, adjacent to the Quick Trip, and various projects on North Florissant Road. Ferguson has obvious issues with some multi-unit housing property, and Allen has ably been able to better inform concerned citizens about ownership, housing codes, and ordinances, etc. Allen has also been an integral participant in the neighborhood police steering committee. As such, he advocates for just policies and organizational systems that are compatible with serving residents justly and effectively. Assisting the group device and present to the council and improve conflict of interest policy is just one example of his service in this regard. Allen's leadership in Proud, people reaching out for the unity and diversity, is an example of sheer dedication, to the goal of bringing our community together. I am so pleased to nominate Alan Miller for this award. He is so deserving. And Ms. Cassandra Butler nominated Mr. Alan Mueller. So please come up and receive it. Next we have. This award is for the Ferguson Special Business District. Please accept this 2023 Ferguson Human Rights Advocate of the Year Award nomination for the Ferguson Special Business District, FSBD. One of the purposes of the FSBD is to utilize the education, learning, and talents to not only bring awareness to Ferguson business, but develop relationships that create sponsorship opportunities that in return support events such as the Ferguson Street Fest. This year, Street Fest welcomed more than 2,500 people to apply for 501 in our community. The patrons of the Street Fest enjoyed the diversity of the musical bands that performed on Friday and Saturday, and the variety of food and drink vendors who served. There was also a variation of community stakeholders and small business vendors who participated in the festival. While some of the vendors weren't Ferguson-based businesses, many Ferguson businesses located in the downtown special business district of Ferguson were filled with customers who visited Ferguson to enjoy the delightful Friday and Saturday. The 2023 Ferguson Street Fest not only brought visitors to our great city to support Ferguson businesses, but showcased the forward progress that adds to the economy and quality of life. Many Ferguson residents also enjoyed the Street Fest as residents were wearing the Ferguson Street Fest Festival t-shirts for 2010, 2015, and 2017. While the Ferguson Street Fest is facilitated by the Ferguson Special Business District, I must also recognize all the Ferguson staff who worked in collaboration during the festival with the Ferguson Special Business District to ensure the best representation of the city of Ferguson. Respectfully submitted, Ferguson Ward 3 Councilwoman Noah. So who do we have? Here's the special award for the Ferguson Special Business District.
Hey, Miss Beverly. I call her Beverly. Okay.
On behalf of the Human Rights Commission, I'm happy to present a Human Rights Advocate of the Year Award to Ava Wanbach and Matt Knapp. Ava and Matt demonstrated exceptional community spirit and dedication to supporting local law enforcement by setting up a lemonade stand, sole cause of raising funds for Ferguson Police Department's canine unit. Your initiative not only fostered community spirit, but also raised over $500 as a significant contribution. This act of civic mindedness and support for local law enforcement is an exemplary model of young individuals actively contributing to the betterment of their community. Your initiative has directly supported the public accommodations aspect of human rights by aiding the public service entity, namely the Ferguson Police Department. Chief Troy.
And finally, I'm happy to present the Human Rights Advocate Award of the Year Award to Dr. Teresa Costa. EPC has been an active participant over decades in the Women Between program till it moved to a permanent location. They assist in providing warming stations in the winter and cooling stations in the summer and giving comfort and support when needed. They have been an active participant in the interministerial organization of churches of all denominations in North County working together, supporting, leading, and adding humanitarian care of those in our community. EPC's work with the 2 food pantries that they run is crucial to the nourishment of our community. Did you know that in 2021, they served 15,506 families, and in 2022, they provided food for 19,985 families. The number of families in 2022 is more than the population of Ferguson for the census. We are on track to do more this year. The work we do with and for St. Vincent de Paul allows members of their church to show God's generosity to those in need with honor and dignity. It teaches the children of the school, the congregation, and community the humbleness of helping others and brings reality to the knowledge that giving to others does more for those who give than those who receive. EPC's members are all committed to the mission of sharing God's love in word, actions, and heart through the church events, community events, and the support of community events created for the city and other organizations. Everything from neighborhood cleanups, fish fries, and creating a huge team for the Twilight Zone. And lastly, the EPC school teaches all these qualities daily to the students. They nurture and grow kindness, faith in humanity, generosity to your fellow man, woman, and child, as well as the rewards of good hard work. The color, gender, or denomination of these kids does not matter. EPC students exemplify beautiful color blindness and an outstanding bonding in their friendships, not seen in other areas. And the best part is to spread what they learn and know throughout the community, like a fuzzy dandelion in a strong breeze. We thank them for their contribution to our city and for their continued stewardship. Was recommended by Councilman.
Thank you, Human Rights Commission. At this time, we will hear from City Manager. He has another portion of his manager's report.
Yes, Mayor, Council. At this time,
So just really quickly, I just wanted to introduce to you, our newest staff member, one of the newest staff members, so our photographer for this evening. So she serves as the deputy city clerk. Her name is Rashawn Peoples. Some of you have already met her. Some have already worked with her a little bit in the last couple of weeks. So I just wanted to introduce everyone to her because I know you'll see more of her.
Thank you. We will move to our consent agenda, the city council meeting minutes, the regular meeting 11/14/23, and the special meeting 9/7/23 and 10/26/23. I request a motion and a second to approve the meeting minutes.
So move, Naquita Noah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. The minutes are approved. We have board commission meeting minutes, Civilian Review Board 11/6/23. I request a motion and a second to receive and file the minutes.
Mayor, sorry, there's a correction that's needed for the CRB minutes. It's one of the participants, he left in November, and it has him excused for a December meeting, but he was no longer in the group, so just a small correction.
So, Mayor, I'm sorry if I may. We actually cannot correct the minutes of the
Oh.
Board of Commission.
Oh,
Now-
I'm sorry, I apologize.
Don't worry about it.
I can pass along your concern to them.
Okay.
To let them know that, you know, you had something that you thought may have needed to be corrected.
Okay, thank you, Octavia.
So motion, Blake Ashby.
Is there a second?
Second, Aquita Noah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. The meeting minutes will be filed. We don't have any appointments tonight. We move to our requests. City Clerk Pittman, do we have any requests?
Yes, so we do have an application for a new liquor license, and that's for Ella's Kitchen at 42 South Florissant Road. Is Miss Anya Smith gonna be present to explain, she's not here. Here.
It's not
No.
my place.
No, so the business itself is already in operation. So it's a cafe down on Florissant Road. And they were looking to add alcohol to the menu. Like I said, initially she was gonna be here to kind of explain and to answer any questions that you guys may have. I'll say this, we bring them forward when they're a new restaurant before they complete the entire process, to learn if the council wants to see liquor sold at that establishment at that location. So has she completed all of the process? No. So when it's a new license, we bring them forward first to learn if they're desired in that location before we put them through the rest of the requirements.
Councilwoman Lipka.
So she's not a new restaurant, but it is a new liquor license.
Yes.
So, and she's not here tonight. So is this something that we need to table and move to January? Because the process isn't complete, as you said.
Right, and so the process would not be complete. So not until she's learned if in fact the council wants to see liquor sold at that address.
But we don't have her here to find out what the,
No, that's fine.
Thought
We can
process.
postpone this to the next meeting, but I just wanted to clarify that we're not gonna be any further along at the next meeting.
right, okay.
Okay,
Is there a motion on the floor to postpone?
So I will make a motion, Mayor, to postpone so we can meet and hear from the owner.
It has been properly moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries that we will hear from the owner of Ella's Kitchen in January meeting. Okay, motion carries. We don't have any proclamations for tonight, but we move to our resolutions. We have resolution number 2023-52. Without objections, we're introduced by council members present. Here none, Attorney Carey, could you please read the resolution?
Read it proudly.
Resolution number 2023-52. A resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into and execute an agreement to hire a city manager.
I have a question. No, I'm kidding.
Would you like to say anything about yourself? Okay, I'm requesting a motion in a second for approval.
So moved, Blake
Heather
Ashby.
Robinette.
Second,
Second.
Linda Lip.
We have everybody
Everybody.
moving. Okay,
Everybody.
who do you have as a motion?
Councilwoman Robinette.
Who you have as a second?
Lip.
Clerk Pittman, could you please call the roll?
Councilwoman Robinette.
Aye.
Mayor Jones. Aye. Councilwoman Lipka.
Aye.
Councilwoman Nelson. Councilwoman Noah.
Aye.
Councilman Palmer.
Aye.
Councilman Ashby.
Aye.
Resolution number 2023-52 passes.
Fine.
Well, come on.
That's a great day.
After the meeting, we'll meet his lovely wife and take pictures.
She's the assistant city manager.
Resolution number 2023-53. Without objection, we're introduced by council members present. Here none, Attorney Carey, could you please read the resolution?
Yes, ma'am. Resolution number 2023-53, a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into and execute an agreement for the installation, operation, and maintenance of license plates recognition cameras within St. Louis County maintained right-of-way.
City Manager Hampton.
Mayor, Council, Chief Doyle had to go to take care of something, but I can answer this. What this is the agreement with St. Louis County and City of Ferguson for the flock cameras. I just also want to bring to your attention, the reason this took a little bit longer is because we actually wanted to see the agreement, and we were one of the first cities that did that.
So this is just a clarification for everybody, because I know what you're talking about, but we had to have approval from St. Louis County to put these flock cameras on the streets that they provide service for that run through our town. So the ones that, if we put flock cameras on our Ferguson streets, then that's just a decision made, but this had to have approval from the county. So this is what we're doing tonight.
Yes, ma'am. And,
Yeah.
and it's not just like county, it can be county like,
Right.
you know, or as long as we got a camera on something with the county or looking at a county thing, we have to have that.
Yeah. So that was just for clarification.
We are the only municipality that has done this correctly. Thank you, Chief. Is there a motion and a second for approval?
So moved. Go ahead.
So move, Naquita Noah.
Second, Linda Lipka.
Pittman, could you please call the roll?
Aye.
Councilman Palmer,
Aye.
Councilman Ashby,
Aye.
Councilwoman Robinette,
Aye.
Mayor Jones,
Aye.
Councilman Lipka,
Aye.
Councilwoman Nelson.
Resolution number 2023-53 passes. We move to resolution number 2023-54. Without objection, we're introduced by council members present. Here none, Attorney Carey, could you please read the resolution?
Yes, ma'am. Resolution number 2023-54. A resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into and execute an agreement with Landmark Training Solutions LLC and appropriating revenue and amending the Ferguson Police Department budget.
City Manager?
Mayor, Council, this is, Chief Doyle said earlier tonight about dispatch, making it more professional. This will, be part of the training, and this is a contract that we will have in place to make that a more professional department. And also, it's just not the professionalism, but make sure our dispatchers are taken care of as well. Short question.
Councilwoman Lipka.
What is the timeline of this training? And then are they going to be involved in any manner within the hiring process of more dispatchers?
Yeah, so Chief Doyle's back from what he had to take care of, so Chief?
Yeah, so it's a 8-hour training course for all the dispatchers.
Uh-huh.
And then it's a 16-hour train-the-trainer course, because what happens, what was occurring before was that the dispatchers that were doing training really never had the training.
Okay.
Able to perform. So instead of us having to contract out each and every time to bring an outside entity in to do the training for our dispatcher, the 16-hour block will train, I think it's 3 or 4 of our dispatchers to be trained so they can do training with our people in-house. So when we hire new people, they would,
The training for the trainers by this Landmark organization, will they then just do the training, or will there be with Landmark in there, they're going to do 2 processes, training the current dispatchers and then training those chosen to be trainers?
absolutely.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. So we're looking at 16 hours for trainers and 8 hours for dispatchers. Okay.
Chief, this will also address some of your SOPs and SOGs for our dispatch as well.
And yeah, just the overall professional business.
So that answers the consent decree, some of those,
Yes, ma'am.
those demands too. So that's awesome to know.
Any other questions for Chief Doyle? Here none, I request a motion and a second for approval.
So moved, Linda Lipka.
Second, Naquita Noah.
Clerk Pittman, could you please call the roll?
Aye.
Councilman Noah,
Aye.
Councilman Palmer,
Aye.
Councilman Ashby,
Aye.
Aye.
Mayor Jones.
Aye. Resolution number 2023-54 passes. We move to resolution number 2023-55. Without objections, we're introduced by council members present. Hear none, Attorney Carey, could you please read the resolution?
Yes, ma'am. Resolution number 2023-55. A resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement for fire dispatching services with Central County Emergency 911 Dispatching Center.
City Manager?
Yeah, Mayor Council, this is our dispatching for EMS and fire. And with the recent property hike increase in North County especially, they didn't want to hurt the communities. So if they would have done it where it would have been full on tilt, they would have collected too much money and they didn't want to do that. However, there is an increase of about $10,000. Next year, we'll probably go into a 3-year contract once things settle down.
Okay.
It's $10,000. And currently.
Councilwoman Lipka.
I'm sorry, Mayor.
I'm gonna say off the top of my head about 75.
So this is a $10,000 increase that we need to pay right now.
No, it's a fee payment. You pay first half, and second half. So
Okay.
it actually comes out.
Okay. All right.
It's a tax.
Okay.
We already collected.
Got it. Thank you.
I'm requesting a motion and a second for approval.
So moved, Heather Robinette.
Second, Blake Ashby.
Clerk Pittman, could you please call the roll?
Councilwoman Robinette,
Aye.
Mayor Jones. Councilwoman Lipka,
Aye.
Councilwoman Nelson, Councilwoman Noah,
Aye.
Councilman Palmer,
Aye.
Councilman Ashby,
Aye.
Resolution number 2023-55 passes. We move to bills requiring first reading. No action are taken at this time. We have bill number 7266. Without objection, we're introduced by council member present. Hear none. Attorney Carey, please read bill number 7266 by title only.
Yes, ma'am. Bill number 7266. An ordinance enacting certain sections within Division 1 of Article 5 of Chapter 44 of the Code of Ordinances for the City of Ferguson, all relating to the regulation of the parking of commercial vehicles on city-owned lots in the city of Ferguson, Missouri.
No action taken at this time. We don't have any bills requiring second reading. We move to unfinished business. Do we have any unfinished business?
Question under unfinished business, since
Lipka.
don't have any conversation while we're in first reading under unfinished business, I would like to bring up conversation about Bill 7266. And in that discussion, reading through the bill and reading through our citizen email that we received today and listening to some of our public comments, my concern is, I think the bill is well written, except for it's a little broad. And in those concerns of bringing it into a more concise state, would that be something that would come to us by the next council meeting for a more concise bill with parameters developed into the wording? So I want to have a little bit of a discussion on this, so that's why I'm bringing it up under unfinished business.
So my understanding would be if we would rewrite the bill, then it would be up for first reading, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So then it would be first reading. But it takes two readings to do it. So
Is it something that would be taken into consideration, some of these concerns that we've had from outside entities between now and January?
yeah. We can take that into consideration. I mean, this bill, what it is like, what we have going on is we have huge tractor trailers with heavy loads.
Right.
Parking on city-owned parking lots.
And private
We're
parking
not
lots.
going after the UPS guy that's making a delivery or the anybody making a delivery. You have to also keep in mind, PD has to get there. It takes 30 to 40 minutes before a tow truck can even get there.
Mhm.
Within that time frame alone, you're looking at almost 2 hours, right? So if somebody's making a delivery, we're obviously not going to tow a UPS truck if we know they're making a delivery.
No, and there is some wording in there. If you read it, it can allow itself to that. Because reading through it, I did see some of that. So it's not completely ambiguous, but at the same time, just building in more clarified wording will eliminate any lawyer down the road saying, well, it sounded like this, or it sounded, if we ever were in a court situation. And Apollo, you know what I'm talking about. Broad language can allow too many interpretations in a court proceeding. But I get where you're coming from. I mean, this is something that's very serious. It's a very serious problem. You and I have seen it in your lot, and we've seen it over in Festival Plaza and Home Depot's lots, and those are private lots. And so I totally get it. I just would like to see an opportunity. And the other thing I would also say, city manager, ooh, that's funny, kind of fun saying. The other thing I would say is even between now and January, it wouldn't be maybe a matter of rewriting it. It would be a matter of amending it. And then at the second reading, presenting the amendments, and it can still pass with amendments. So it wouldn't be a start over from scratch situation. That's a possibility as well.
Once the language is changed in a bill, it starts over.
It doesn't have an amendment. We've done amendments to bills before. But it doesn't matter. I mean, either way is fine as long as we get it right.
Attorney Carey. Okay.
Any parking ordinance is going to be very challenging to enforce during business hours. Even a truck with a big load could argue that they're delivering to the snack shop that's on Florissant Road or the Ella's Kitchen. Are we trying to combat overnight parking? Is that the concern here?
Overnight, over weekend.
Over months.
Yeah, I mean, it could be during the day. Some people drop their trailers and then they take a trailer and drive off and go pick up another load. I mean, so it could be during the day as well.
Now, would it be simpler to say that unattended loads at any time and anybody parked overnight on any city parking lot should be towed? I know we already have overnight parking is already not permitted within our parks and other parking lots in the city.
Yeah, so let me say, I think all the comments are very well taken, in terms of narrowing the scope. We just have to be careful if we narrow it too much, and then there's a variation of some sort that we really need. So there needs to be some flexibility of enforcement. But it's still well taken that we need to narrow it. And so I will work with John to, we'll think through this scenario to see what makes sense. And then how we work normally is I'll just say, let's think through it, and I'll come up with, different scenarios. And if it makes sense at the end, then we can take that and present that to council. But again, it's all well taken. We know it's maybe a little bit broad. We may need to narrow it a little bit. We just have to be careful. There's a dance that we do, not narrowing it too much.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, there's an issue that we have and we can't enforce.
And I will say in reality, I have over 10 acres of parking on Florissant Road, and I can tell you that 95% of the time when you want someone towed, like you said, by time you call the tow truck and they show up, the person shows up. I was just about to move that. And then after about 3 times, the tow company says, hey, is that car probably going to move before we get there? Because if so, we're not going to send our guys over there because we only get paid if we tow a vehicle. My most frequent towed vehicle is something that's broken or abandoned that just sits, and oftentimes they rarely show up because they can't remove it anyway. Usually it's, who towed my car? Yeah, I towed your car because it was broke down and it was on my parking lot. So eventually you're the boy who cried wolf to the tow company. And unless we were writing tickets, that's different. Now, if we're going to write tickets and we properly post the properties, the parking lots, and PD is going to show up and say, hey, you violated this ordinance. We're writing you a ticket for parking your truck here. That will send a message quickly.
Yeah, just like a perfect example is I think this past summer at the Y, up by the Y, that is a city drive. And we had tractor trailers just parking there and then dropping their load. Well, we started towing them and then the problem got fixed. So once we start towing a couple of these tractor trailers, we're gonna see the problem get fixed. And I don't see this being like a prolonged thing that we have to deal with. I think more of our issue on towing cars are from vacant land, vacant properties. They're sitting in the streets with tires that have been flattened for 2 weeks. Those type of things we have to address as well.
And I would also just lend to what Councilman Palmer said, if we are still going to start writing tickets, we should get those lovely, really sticky stickers that never come off your window. That would be nice too.
Like that suggestion.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Okay. Any other unfinished business? Well, we move to new business. Whistle Stop request for proposal results. This is a discussion selection process.
Yeah. Mayor,
City manager.
Mayor and council. So this has been already out for RFP once before. We put it out again for RFP again. And I will, Rachel St. Pierre is here as well. She can answer. But what we would like to do is have them brought up for an interview for each council, for a council meeting and the next council meeting potentially in January. But I'll yield to Rachel.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Rachel.
So as John said, you guys have already done this bid process once before. And, when we had a recent application come in, you had all recommended doing it one more time, to give everybody a fair chance. We had 3 applications come in and, I have provided you with, that information. And then I've also provided you with the draft of a lease agreement or a contract for the property and the use of all of the equipment that is in there. I think it's going to take a lot of discussion, a lot of back and forth to make sure that we have everything outlined and everything protected. There is the historical status that we have to keep in line with. And then just making sure that this person is going to be capable of hopefully, staying here for 5 years and helping us grow Ferguson as well. So my recommendation was to work with Ms. Larry. So her proposal is in there, and I think she has a really good, robust background already in St. Louis County. So she has existing business. She'll bring in participation from other localities, and I think just the traffic that she'll help pull to Ferguson would be beneficial for everybody.
I kind of like the city manager's idea is to bring each applicant up in January so we could hear from them before we make a decision and have an opportunity to discuss it. Councilman Palmer.
In our packet, we'd only seen the applicant that I guess you internally were suggesting of the 3, correct?
No, you should have all of them.
Okay. I would just say, I kind of look through that. One thing that I would like that would help me make a better decision would be more of a pro forma approach to the financing side of it. I did see that there is some anticipated sales numbers, but it'd be good to kind of see like a breakdown of their anticipated, expenses as well. Because I do have some concerns with the one that I read, their gross sales, just simplistic math I did, they're going to lose money just right off the bat, unless their numbers were inaccurate. So it'd be good to kind of see that's the very basic, I don't need to see their trade secrets or anything, but just something very basic that shows utilities and labor and insurance and things like that.
So what we can do, we'll make sure that everybody has all the information, and then January we'll make sure that we contact them and have them, I guess, under a special presentation portion. We can do where each of them come up and do a presentation to council.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Rachel. New business closed. At this time, we move to miscellaneous. Let's start with Councilwoman Noah.
Thank you, Mayor. Just right quick, today I had the pleasure of attending the I-270 ribbon cutting for the highway. They finished the highway, everyone. As everyone knows, it was 4 years coming, but it was a great opportunity. The mayor was there as well. And I just want to remind everyone about the meetings, the Ward 3 neighborhood meetings. Excuse me. This Saturday, we will meet Zoom, the North Hills meeting. And South Central Ferguson will meet every fourth Thursday, Zoom. We will meet this month. The next Southwest meeting will be Monday, January 22nd, 2024 at 6 p.m. Zoom. And the Nesbitt Newton Neighborhood Association will meet December 27th at 6 p.m. at the Ferguson Empowerment Center. The address is 9420 West Florissant Avenue. And the Forestwood Neighborhood Association will meet again January 2nd at Emmaus Bible Chapel, 900 Highmont. Other than that, I would like to thank all of the staff, the new staff, the staff that's been here, the police department, the volunteers on our boards and commissions, and the residents. Thank you for your patience and your hard work and your dedication to the city of Ferguson. Everyone be safe and have a happy holiday season. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Palmer.
I have nothing tonight. Thank you.
Councilman Ashby.
Yeah, first of all, first and foremost, welcome Chief Hampton, City Manager Hampton. I guess I have to start calling you that now. Really, really appreciate your jumping in and doing all you're doing. And you know, frankly, it's just been a great 9 months for the city. We've made, you know, I was talking to somebody not too long ago who said it feels like we made more progress in the last 6 or 7 months than we made in the last 6 or 7 years. So we really appreciate your taking it and carrying the load. Also, very specifically, I wanted to thank the Parks and Recreation Department and the Fire Department for the Santa. It's always great to see the fire trucks go around and the kids run out and get all excited. It's one of the neat things that Ferguson does. And echoing Naquita, you know, really the whole city is contributing to making Ferguson better. And we really do appreciate all the time and the effort and the energy everybody puts in, because it really does take all of us to make Ferguson better. So thank you very much for everybody for everything you've done this year.
Thank you, Councilman Ashby. Councilwoman Robinette.
I'd like to congratulate City Manager. It does feel good to say that. City Manager / Fire Chief Hampton. We're gonna have to shorten it.
CC.
I'm just gonna call you Hampton. But congratulations, it's well deserved, and I agree with what others have said that we have seen so much progress with you as interim, and look forward to what you can do here ongoing. And I just like to wish everybody happy holidays and stay safe. And that's all I have tonight, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilwoman Robinette. Councilwoman Lipka.
First of all, I want to thank you for a year of 2023 of letting me ask all the questions I ask. So thank you very much to the city and the council. I also want to say thank you very much, seriously, to Parks and Rec and the fire department for the Santas and sirens. It's been really awesome. And also on that note, I've noticed an uptick in just people decorating their homes and the Christmas lights all over Ferguson. And it's pretty wonderful to see people feeling the spirit and the season and showing it in the pride of their homes. So thank you to all the citizens for that. Also would like to address Mr. Shropshire in his public comments asking about the traffic data. So the reason we're doing the traffic data, and Mr. Kassoff kind of alluded to it as well, we have to have the data to realize where the problems are. So the data isn't going to direct us to who's causing the problem. It's not going to say, go to Joe Smith's house at 513 this, but we have to have the data to separate data from emotion. When we have people going, they just fly down my street every single day. And we hear that all the time. Chief Doyle will tell you. Well, what we want to do is take that Jamar system, we want to put it on a pole, and we want to go to your street where they fly down every single day. And we want to get the data so that we can now start looking at what kind of cars are flying down your street. Are they 4-wheel axle? Are they 2-axle? Are they 4-axle? Are they doing this amount of speed from 9 to 10? Are they doing this amount of speed from 11 to 12? Are they, and all of that data then either reinforces what the community is telling us, or it's going to tell us, okay, maybe it's not all day long, but there's a definite problem between 4 and 6 in the afternoon. So those are the reasons that we use the Jamar. Mr. Kassoff, I'm on the right path, correct? Those are the reasons that we are gathering the data from Jamar, because once we gather that data and we can start pinpointing, and we can then turn to Chief Doyle and Chief Hampton, and we can say, here's what the data is saying, then the conversation of traffic calming becomes a very viable conversation. And the conversation of prioritization as to where the most needed areas of attention are is how that is created. So I hope that answers your question to some extent, but that is what we're trying to accomplish. And we're doing that in partnership as a volunteer citizen organization called the Traffic Commission with our city manager and our police chief. I would also like to now change the subject and say Merry Christmas to everyone. Thank you to all the new staff. Thank you to the original staff of the city. You guys work your butts off, and we know it and we see it in all the accomplishments. Our police department, our police officers, our fire department, our city staff, our Parks and Rec, our Public Works, all of you are amazing. And I want to say, I thank you all for staying on this path with us throughout all of our transitions between police chiefs and city managers over the years. I think we as a council feel that we have given you now the best partnerships that we can possibly give you with our police, with our fire, and now with our fire chief being our city manager. And I do say that from the bottom of my heart and as professionally as I can muster. We have, as a council, seen a lot of people come before us, but we feel that this is the best decision. And we thank you, John Hampton, for working with us and taking this agreement with us. And we look forward to your leadership because it's already proven to be very effective. And my final thing, on December 28th, if you happen to watch the Today Show, tune in. Because I'm turning 60 that day and I have decided to give myself a bucket list, and I'm going to New York and I'm holding my sign up at 5 a.m. that says I'm 60 today. So if you would like to see me, I will be that person jumping up and down with my sign. So I promised my daughter years ago we would do this, and I'm keeping my promise to her, and her spirit's going to go with me. So tune in.
You young, honey, 60 is young.
I'm going to make 60 really young. I'm getting this weight off. I'm getting in better shape.
Thank you, Councilwoman Lipka. Councilwoman Nelson. Thank you, Councilwoman Nelson. Attorney Carey.
Congratulations to John for making the cut. You know, I feel about his hire the same way I felt about Chief Doyle's hire. Been here for a while now, so I've seen people come and go, and I just, you know, as a lawyer, I try to stay always sort of even, but he made me excited. So congratulations to the council for making that decision, and congratulations to the city. I don't know anybody, I mean, everybody here loves the city of Ferguson, but I don't know anybody who loves the city of Ferguson more than John does. So you guys are getting a good one. So.
Thank you, Attorney Carey. Clerk Pittman.
So a couple of reminders. Well, first, candidate filing is underway for the April 2nd election. Council members, Ward 1, 2, and 3. Filing closes December 26th at 5 p.m. Nominating petitions are required, and they are available for pickup. The election board is also soliciting election judges. They have openings for election judges. The adults, they can earn at least $250 for their service. They are also looking for high school students who can also earn pay or community service hours. So more information is going to be posted on the city's website. And lastly, I also would like to congratulate Chief Hampton, or City Manager Hampton. You know, we've been working well together, you know, during this time, and you know, internally as a staff member, We have seen a lot. We've seen a lot of changes. We've seen a boost in morale. You know, we have this conversation all the time. So congratulations, and I'm looking forward to it. That's all I have. Ma'am.
Thank you, Clerk Pittman. Now we will hear from City Manager John Hampton.
Well, Mayor and Council, thank you. You know, we're building teams here, and like Octavia said best, it's our morale, you know, and I think a lot of it is we have to work not just staff, but council and staff together. So I think that's one of the biggest things that we got to improve on, because we are putting together a good team. So that's all I have.
Just a reminder, January the 9th is status hearing. This is an opportunity for the community to speak, and the status hearing will be 10 o'clock a.m. Federal Court Building downtown. Just want to say congratulations to City Manager Hampton. We appreciate everything you're doing. And I would just like to say to the council, let us, I've asked before that the ward people get together and come up with some goals and directives that you want for your ward. We'll meet, get it all down on paper, work with Octavia, so when the city manager calls, we will be able to go in and talk with him, even though he's going to do his own thing. But we want to give him some directives to be successful. That's the key, because he does not learn by osmosis. So it's our job to come together and give you the directives so you'll be able to do a great job. I received a telephone call from one of the citizens, and I had to laugh simply because in late October, county executive sent a letter to a developer stating that he was no longer going to approve post-third trustee property. I in turn talked to John Hampton, the city manager. He in turn talked to Rachel. And then on November the 1st, we had a Metro East mayor's meeting here in Ferguson. And I talked to the mayors, and we got together on November the 16th to have a meeting with the mayors to see if anyone else was experiencing this no sale process that County Executive Sam Page was doing. So we held the meeting. County Chairwoman Shalonda Webb was here, and our Councilwoman Retta Days came along with the mayors. We came up with a strategy, a process as to how we're going to work with the post-third properties. So County Councilwoman Chair Shalonda Webb, she called a committee for the whole meeting, December the 5th. I in turn sent the email out to all the council members and to several community leaders to be there for the meeting. So we held the meeting, and while we were there, the Department of Revenue sent down some paperwork stating that they basically want to retract what Sam Page has said, but that is not good enough, simply because he has a meeting with the mayors January the 4th here in Ferguson. And at this meeting, this lady texted me and she got, "Why are you not at the meeting?" I'm like, I organized the meeting. So she must have seen a picture on Facebook or something and assumed I was not there. But I organized the meeting for the mayors. But here's the deal. It is not about what the previous mayor has done in Jennings, or Pine Lawn, or Ferguson. It is the fact that St. Louis County has a $41 million deficit. And Sam Page believed that the Department of Revenue can collect the back taxes on these post-third properties from developers instead of giving it to the cities to rehab and put them back on the tax roll. That is not good enough, simply because he cannot penalize the municipalities for a program that they cannot even find any bills or anything for, and he cannot be the person to say what the municipalities can and can't do. Our proposal to him in legislation is that if you want to collect back taxes, collect it on everyone. Just don't take a subsection and think you're going to get that $41 million deficit by hurting the municipalities. So if you're going to go behind back taxes, go for everyone, businesses, people. And on January the 4th, we'll be going through this legislation with him because it is unfair to penalize the cities who were getting the post-third properties and put them back on the tax roll. So that brings me to the next meeting. We had a meeting here with prosecuting attorney Wesley Pell and Chief Doyle talking about juveniles, crime, and gun violence. Chief can say they're still working on the legislation. However, it's Rule 28. And if a minor, a juvenile is caught breaking into your car, your house, the police can take them to the police station and call their parents to come pick them up. In some instances, the police had to take them home because the parents would not pick them up. We cannot stop this crime unless we change Rule 28. And the police chiefs, they are working on this legislation. It's a process. It's a process. I get so many calls about people's cars being broken in, but we have started the process. We're working with family court. The mayors are doing their job. We're going to Jeff City in order to get this rule taken care of. In addition to that, we are just not sitting doing nothing. Your mayor is working, but everything is a process. Everything is a process. Having a baby is a process. Everything. And so we're in the midst of all these processes working to get the legislation we need to make our communities better and stable. On another note, happy birthday, Octavia. We missed you December the 4th. We have a birthday present for you. And on Friday, December the 15th, I'm having a Christmas party. I love to party. Christmas parties have outgrown my home. So everyone in Ferguson is invited to the mayor's Christmas party. It will be at the wine bar on Friday from 6:30 to 9:30. Yes, I have hired security. I hire security at all my parties. I've been criticized because I hired security. However, I want everyone to be safe. It does not become the police department responsibility to sit on a lot and watch a car. That's not their responsibility. So come out, have a great time with us. We are going to party. So that's all I have.
Get an Uber.
So at this time, I will request a motion and a second to adjourn.
So move, Naquita Noah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it. Have a Merry Christmas. And don't forget to take your pictures with the city manager. And we have refreshments.